Hello, Durud and Shalom. Sorry, guys, that we have to discuss this tragedy right now, but let's just go through it and figure out what happened. I'm going to pay attention to your comments in the chat. Let me know if my audio is good. Let's just, for people who haven't been following what's happening, let's just watch a quick video regarding to get everybody on the same page, and then I'm going to go over all the stuff that might not be discussed in the news that other people are sharing on their own accounts. But let's just get a quick recap of what happened. While I play this, I'm going to be looking at your comments in the chat. I'm paying attention to you guys. Thank you. People are confirming that the audio is good, and thank you people for liking the stream so that more people see this. Anyways, let me just play this, and I'm going to just focus on your comments and read those while I play this.
The scene down there at Bondi Beach. Rex, what do you have for us?
Hold on. So you guys know there was a major shooting by these Muslims, seems to be against Jews. So let's watch this.
Let's go back to Rex Quayle, who's on the scene down there at Bondi Beach. Rex, what do you have for us?
Hello again. I've just been speaking with a few more people. They saw that I spoke to one gentleman who said he saw at least 3 people die in front of him. There's reports of four behind me. I'm not going to show it, but behind me in this scene, we can see that what very much looks like someone that has passed away. Okay. Numbers are unconfirmed at this stage, but
11.
we can confirm that there has been some deaths.
And Rex, in the midst of this tragedy, we must presume at this stage that some young children have been caught up in this massacre.
I can't confirm if any young children have been hit, but there were definitely children at this festival. That's a given. I saw families hugging each other in tears, kids crying about saying that they were trying to run away and flee the scene. I cannot confirm if any kids have been caught or hit or injured, but I can confirm that yes, there are some kids here. What it looks like is there was some kids on the festival. There was some kids animation being played. So we heard one person say that it was a children's Jewish festival. Again, I don't have the absolute latest view on that one, but that's what people have been telling me.
So it's a Jewish festival for children. That's what they decided to shoot at. By the way, guys, if this doesn't show you why we need Zionism, if this doesn't show you why Jews are not safe anywhere in the world other than Israel, and this is why we need Israel to exist, I don't know if this doesn't confirm to you, doesn't prove to you that's why Zionism is necessary, then fuck you.
On the ground.
And we're seeing pictures, Rex, of people fleeing the scene, running as far from Bondi Beach as they possibly can, as quickly as they can. But on the other side, I'm sure the police presence and the emergency services heading into that area must be overwhelming by now.
Oh, everywhere. They've absolutely swarmed.
Guys, I don't understand. It must be very stressful to be a Jew. Like, I don't know how you guys deal with that. It must be very stressful.
In this last 45 minutes to an hour, there's too many to count. Too many to count. There are police, there are ambulance, there are trucks everywhere, there are paramedics, the lifesavers. I've been seeing people throwing in their life-saving stuff. It looks like some volunteer lifeguards who are just dining nearby, volunteer ambos as well, coming out, throwing on their stuff. Yeah, it is absolutely everywhere. There is a serious emergency response here.
And if the gunman's intention was to create absolute fear and absolute loathing on what is a very famous stretch of Australian sand, it has been achieved this evening.
It certainly seems that way, Mark. Again, cannot confirm a motive, cannot confirm anything else except for the fact that, again, cannot confirm.
That's them, right? That's the 2 of them? There was 2 of them, right? And that's the 2 of them.
It certainly seems that way, Mark. Again, cannot confirm a motive, cannot confirm anything else except for the fact that these 2 shooters shot on a sacred day, an important day for the Jewish community in one of the most populated Jewish areas of the city. Yes.
Rex, thank you.
I think one of them was from Pakistan. The other one was from, where was the other one from?
Tom, this is not only sending shockwaves right through Sydney, right through Australia, but there'd be another reason why this massacre has taken place on Bondi Beach. It is perhaps the most famous stretch of sand anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's iconic, and if they are talking about that Chanukah festival being the main target for these gunmen, it's also an incredibly important place for Jewish people to congregate who, you know, so many of them, thousands of Jewish people live across Bondi and around that area. And it is iconic. You can see, I mean, I've seen videos and I've heard the gunshots ring out as well from, you know, several hundred metres away. And you can see people, there's one of those gunmen right now, you can see. If we can just go back to one of those videos where they're going over the bridge and just listen to those shots being fired out and the eerie sort of silence that follows.
It's hard
So the Pakistani guy, his name is Naveed Akram, and he was born in Australia.
to believe that this is Bondi Beach. It's hard to believe this is Sydney. It's hard to believe this is Australia.
I myself used to live down there for several years, and I'm getting messages for people checking.
Has anything like this has ever happened? You know, is this new for Australia? Like, my memory is not serving me very well, but is this like this is new for Australia, isn't it?
That I'm okay. I know several people who are living down there at the moment.
But this was to be expected at some point, unfortunately.
And I'm checking if they're okay. Unfortunately, we do know that not everyone is okay, and it doesn't look like that everyone will get out of this safely. It is an incredibly horrific scene, as Rex has showed us as well, with several people being worked on, having their lives, trying to be saved by several paramedics on site, but some of those people might not be.
By the way, all the anti-Zionists, this is because of you. You have blood on your hand.
So lucky, and to just stroll into Bondi, at least to
All the people who come to our chat and write free Palestine, this is your people. This is what you have been. This is the poison that you have been spreading. This is what you stand for.
gunmen with a huge gun, lots of ammunition. You saw around their belts as well just how much ammunition they had. They clearly had a motivation in mind going to that, what we think is a Chanukah festival. All of that ammunition you could see littered around them with backpacks and those ammunition belts as well. They came into this with a clearly pre-organised and predetermined goal, and that looks like one of the RSLs or restaurants down at North Bondi. People taking cover. Obviously, just incredibly shocking situation.
Yeah, look at that sheer panic, and very sadly, the reports are just getting worse by the minutes. We are now hearing, unconfirmed, but there have been multiple deaths, multiple people with critical injuries, and paramedics and emergency services are trying to save lives as we speak. But a number of lives have been lost, unconfirmed that number, but the reports coming in from Bondi Beach are getting worse.
Hold on. Okay, let's switch this one.
Gentleman who raced in.
So there was one guy who, hold on. I think there was a Muslim guy who attacked one of the terrorists, wasn't he? So 12. The number is 12 people killed.
The gentleman who raced into the scene to disarm one of the gunmen. We're just learning some details about him because he has been shot. Now, we are confident in saying that that is him. One of his relatives has just spoken to one of our reporters. We've got an interview coming in. We understand that this gentleman's name is Ahmed Al-Ahmed. He's a 43-year-old married father of two.
Oh, look at that guy. The bravery on this guy. That is insane. This guy, holy shit, this guy's a hero. Look at that.
This gentleman's name is Ahmed Al-Ahmed. He's a 43-year-old married father of two.
And guys, this is exactly why on this channel we say that we need to tell people that being against Islam doesn't mean that we're against Muslims. That it's not helpful. In my opinion, it is helpful to be anti-Islam, but it's not helpful to be anti-Muslim. Those are two different positions, and one of them I agree with, the other one I don't. And this right here is one reason why being anti-Muslim doesn't make any sense. Look at this. This is a Muslim hero. I mean, I disagree. Obviously, I disagree with Muslims on their Islamic views, but that doesn't mean that they're not good people. Like so this person isn't this is a better person than most of us, I think. Look at this. Look at the amount of bravery it takes to do something like this.
We understand that this gentleman's name is Ahmed Al Ahmed. He's a 43-year-old married father of two, and he raced in to help. We understand. Apparently owns a fruit shop in Sutherland. No experience with guns. He was just walking past. We are told that he has 2 bullets in his arm, but they think he's going to be okay. And in the next hour, let's have a listen.
Wow. Okay. Why didn't he shoot him? He should have shot him. Maybe he didn't want to kill anybody.
Raced in to help.
He managed to take the gun away from him. Amazing.
We understand. Apparently owns a fruit shop in Sutherland. No experience with guns.
Oh, Sam is saying he didn't know how to use the gun. Yeah, so okay, he didn't know how to use the gun. That's why.
He was just walking past. We are told that he has 2 bullets in his arm, but they think he's going to be okay. And in the next hour, let's have a listen to...
Wait, how did he get shot? I'm not seeing in this video him getting shot because he has a bullet.
He's a 43-year-old married father of 2. And he raced in to help.
I didn't see him getting shot. How did he get shot?
We understand. Apparently owns a fruit shop in Sutherland. No experience with guns. He was just walking past. We are told that he has 2 bullets in his arm, but they think he's going to be okay. And in the next hour, let's have a listen to the hero's relatives talking about his acts this evening at Bondi Beach.
Still, he's in the hospital, and we don't know exactly what's going inside. But they said the doctor, he's very okay. And
yeah, Yabs is saying not much to know. It was loaded. He could have just pulled the trigger. He didn't want to kill him, I guess. Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to kill anybody.
The next 2 hours, they let us to go in and see Ahmed because he's still inside and he do the operation. But we hope he will be fine. He's a hero, 100%. He's a hero because what we see on the social media, he's like is 100% hero.
To his shoulder?
Yeah, he have 2 shots. One.
By the way, guys, be careful not to let people who. Because now a lot of Muslims are going to try to say like, oh, look, this Muslim did this, therefore Islam is not to blame. That's not true. Islam is to be blamed. Islam is to be blamed. That Muslim is a hero, but Islam is to be blamed. These are not a contradiction. Okay, the actions of many Muslims do not represent Islamic teaching. Islamic teaching is represented by the Quran and the Hadith, not the actions of every Muslim. In fact, this man did the opposite of what Islam teaches Muslims to do. So that Muslim is a hero, but Islam is to be blamed for actions like this. And this is not a contradiction. If you understand that, you understand this more than most people.
In his arm here and one in his hand.
And have you been able to talk to him today?
No.
All right, hold on. So remember, every time a Muslim does a good thing, it's because Islam has failed to kill their humanity. Okay? Every good Muslim is a failure of Islam because Islam is a mind virus, and if a Muslim is good, it's because Islam didn't do its job properly on them.
This is a breaking update.
Oh my God.
A major situation unfolding at Bondi Beach this evening. We have early reports that at least 10 people have been shot. Police have issued an urgent message, which I will read out now. Police are responding to a developing incident at Bondi Beach and are urging the public to avoid the area. Anyone at the scene should take shelter. Police are on the scene and more information will be provided when it comes to hand. We have our reporter Zach Bailey at Bondi Beach for us now. Zach, this appears to have unfolded just after 6:30 this evening. We're hearing that multiple people have been shot after a gunman opened fire, we understand, near Campbell Parade, at the southern end of Campbell Parade. We're looking at vision now of people fleeing the scene when these shots rang out around 6:40 this evening. It was a scene of absolute terror. We have heard reports that multiple people have been shot. We're not clear yet on casualties. You are there now. What can you tell us?
Wait, this is old. Let me actually look at something more recent. This one has actually more recent information. Here, this is better.
Joining us now, at least 12 people have been killed following a mass shooting by 2 gunmen at Bondi Beach in Sydney, with 29 currently in hospital. Now, one of the gunmen is among the dead. Footage from the scene shows a man wresting a pump-action shotgun from a gunman. Now, the attack happened as people celebrated the Jewish festival of Chanukah. In a press conference, the New South Wales Police Premier Chris Minnis said that one of the gunmen had been killed and another one was in custody.
2 individuals began firing on a crowded group of families on Bondi Beach at Archer Park. This cowardly act of terrifying violence is shocking and painful to see and represents some of our worst fears about terrorism in Sydney. I very sadly need to report that as of now, there are at least 12 individuals that have been killed. One of the offenders has also been killed and one is in custody. This attack was designed to target Sydney's Jewish community on the first day of Chanukah.
Australian police say that they are currently investigating if there is a third offender. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says that the evil that was unleashed at Bondi Beach today is beyond comprehension.
This afternoon, there has been a devastating terrorist incident at Bondi at the Chanukah by the Sea celebration. This is a targeted attack on Jewish Australians on the first day of Chanukah, which should be a day of joy, a celebration of faith. An act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation. An attack on Jewish Australians is an attack on every Australian, and every Australian tonight will be, like me, devastated.
Well, more than 50 gunshots were heard as hundreds of people fled the scene in Sydney at around about 6:40 p.m. That's local time.
I ran onto the beach. I guess everyone ran onto the beach. It was pretty terrifying. And yeah, I eventually went back to see what was happening. A few people helped a few old people get up and get out of there, but it was like there were lots of bodies on the floor.
Absolutely terrifying. Now, there have been plenty of reaction here in the UK, with the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, saying it is deeply distressing news and described it as an appalling attack. London Mayor Sadiq Khan.
I mean, you guys support these people's movement. Like, you guys are the reason why these movements grow. You guys you guys don't have the balls to stand up against what's responsible for this. You guys have rewarded this movement by recognizing Palestine as a nation state. So what the fuck, like, and also deeply distressing news from Australia. The United Kingdom sends its thoughts and condolences to everyone affected by the appalling. Like, what the fuck, like, why don't you call out the movement that is responsible for this, the ideology that is responsible for this? You fucking cowards. Like, how are you going to even win against this if you're too scared to even mention what causes all of this? Oh, we got a super chat. Hold on. So let me see. Shauna, thank you so much, saying, I'm glad they're actually calling it a terrorist attack. Yeah. Yesterday we feared they wouldn't even call it out because attacks in Europe go unreported. Yeah, I think that would be too much if they wouldn't even call it a terrorist attack. I think they would have. I didn't expect them not to do that, but I think they should go further than calling it a terrorist attack. I think they should call out the ideology. This is not just Islam, by the way, guys. This is the Palestine movement. This is both leftism and Islam at the same time. This is basically the result of anti-Zionism. This is the Palestine movement. This is what the Palestine movement stands for.
Distressing news and described it as an appalling attack. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has announced...
Just please, I hope people in this channel recognize that Palestine is not a name of a country. Palestine is the name of a terrorist movement. And this is the result of that. Oh my God, Sadiq Khan, let's see what he has to say.
That extra officers from the Metropolitan Police will be on the streets of London following the attack. He said, my thoughts and condolences, along with the rest of London, are with everyone affected by the horrific attack at Bondi Beach, Australia today. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has reacted to the tragic events in Australia, saying the Chanukah party shooting in Australia is horrendous.
Oh, come on, Nigel Farage, at least he should name that. He should name. Okay, I expected Farage at least to name what is behind this. Like you know what? Maybe Tommy Robinson is the only person in the UK who will call this out.
The threat is everywhere.
This is why Tommy is
genuinely horrendous.
Okay, let's give him a chance. Hopefully he says something about Islam or the Palestine movement, because if he doesn't, then he's as useless as the other politicians in the UK. This is why we need Tommy Robinson, because he would call out what's responsible for this.
It's horrendous. The threat is everywhere.
Genuinely horrendous. Last I hear, it's 10 dead and many, many wounded. I did see some video of an heroic Australian, you know, taking the gun out of the hands of one of these terrorists. Desperately sorry for the Jewish community in Sydney, which is quite considerable. But equally, you realise actually the threat to the Jewish people is everywhere. It's not just
by who? By who? Name the evil. Name the evil responsible for this.
in Manchester or in parts of North London. It's all over the world, and there is this real poison.
What is the poison? Like, what are our chances of being successful against this when our politicians can't even name it? Cowards.
The Director of Public Affairs at the Jewish Leadership Council, Russell Langer, joins me now. Russell, welcome to the programme. Russell, let's talk about what's happening, because to me it seems absolutely abhorrent that Jewish people, in my view, have been allowed to be castigated, vilified across the world in many countries without... It seems as though anti-Semitism has almost been normalised.
Hi, good afternoon. It is abhorrent. It's an international issue. You know, so that this attack happened in Australia. It's the other side of the world, but for the British Jewish community, it might as well be next door down the road. You know, we will know people who were there, who were on the beach at the time. I didn't think I knew anybody, but then later found out through family WhatsApp groups that I had distant family members there. It's we're a small, close-knit community, but around the world there are those motivated by this evil who see Jews celebrating and want to kill them. And that's happened in Australia today. It happened 2 months ago in Manchester on a different Jewish festival, and it happened in Israel on October 7th on a different Jewish festival. Our Jewish festivals are a time for the Jewish community to come together, celebrate, mark them in the appropriate way. For some people,
guys, if you let me know in the chat, if you're a Jew not in Israel, are you considering moving to Israel? I mean, if I was a Jew and I was not in Israel, I would do everything in my power to just move to Israel. Let me know in the chat if that's something that you're considering.
Well, as we can see, there are those who just want to come out and kill us.
It just, to me,
because it might get much worse than this. It might get so much worse than this. So the longer you delay, I don't know.
Some people, as we can see, there are those who just want to come out and kill us.
It just, to me, I didn't realize it, but to the Jewish community.
Oh, interesting. People are saying, yes, I'm considering it. Yes. Yeah. By the way, like, it's kind of, isn't it retarded for you to, if you are anti-Zionist, wouldn't Jews outside of Israel be something that you welcome? Like, how does that even make sense? Like these people just hate Jews. This is how I know this is not about Zionism, and this is about just killing Jews. Because if it was about Zionism, then you should welcome Jews not in Israel. You should be like, oh, that's where that's where we want the Jews to be, outside of Israel, so that you wouldn't be discouraging Jews not living in Israel. So when you attack Jews outside of Israel, aren't you encouraging Jews to move to Israel? Isn't that like encourages Zionism? To me, this is proof that this is not so-called anti-Zionism. It's just Jew hatred. Because if you were anti-Zionist, you would only focus on Jews in Israel, not Jews outside of Israel. You were like, oh, these people are exactly where they should be, outside of Israel. Oh, let me see. Hold on. We got a super chat. Oh, hey, Paul is saying, I have friends who were, hi, Paul, saying, I have friends who were in Bondi yesterday. Oh, my God. Some at the event. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. They are definitely talking about leaving Australia. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry to hear that, Paul. I hope your friends are okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually, Paul is actually in Sydney. So that's actually very interesting to know. Thank you for sharing that.
It just, to me, I didn't realize it, but to the Jewish community, it is perfectly normal for you to have guards out.
Yeah, exactly. Yabs in the chat is saying they don't want us anywhere, Armin. Exactly. And this is why there is no anti-Zionism movement. It's fucking bullshit. It's all anti-Jewish. If anybody acts like they're anti-Zionist but not anti-Jewish, just tell them fuck you. It's all anti-Jewish. There's nothing you could do as Jews that satisfies these people ever. Okay, the whole reason why people are focusing on anti-Zionism is to hide, to basically try to make it more acceptable. But if Israel is wiped out from the map and it doesn't exist anymore, do you think they will stop attacking Jews and be like, oh, okay, this is good now? If we basically give all of Israel to so-called Palestine, do you think that they would be like, okay, now we don't have any problems with Jews anymore? That would be the beginning of hunting down Jews. That would be like, oh, you guys don't have any safe space anymore. It's hunting season for us now. That would be just phase one. They're just acting like this.
But to the Jewish community, it is perfectly normal for you to have guards outside synagogues. Children being walked to school by people to other people, so they're protected.
Imagine being a Jewish child, growing in a world that you learn very early on that there's a huge population bigger than the size of all of us combined that wants us dead. Like, I don't know how psychologically you would deal with that. Imagine growing up as a Jew and at some point in your childhood realizing that the number of people who want Jews dead is higher than the number of Jews. Like, just think about that. The number of people who want Jews dead are higher than the total number of Jews. And then you growing up realizing that you're this hated. What does that do to a mind? I don't really know how. Yeah.
Protecting them. To me, I wasn't aware of all of that, but it seems to me that the Jewish people have been tolerating a lot of hate for a very long time.
That's exactly it. It's so normalized that a lot of the time we forget that other people don't understand that. I grew up in this country, going to school in this country, behind high fences and security. If you go to any...
Wait, look at this. Hold on. Unicorn in the chat. Where's the comment? Come on, I hope I find it. Here, let me just read it from my screen. Unicorn in the chat is saying, it's tough. There's no way to really describe the feeling. 16 million of us, billions of the world wants us gone. Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm really sorry. I don't know how you deal with this.
Jewish communal location, you will find that, including our places of worship. But it's also important to note, because this was a Chanukah event on Bondi Beach, what sort of makes Chanukah different in that sense. Chanukah is the time of year where we come out of our places of worship and our homes. We don't celebrate it behind those fences. It's the festival of light. The whole purpose is to share that, and we celebrate that with communal gatherings in major locations in city centres and on local high streets. That's what the people of Bondi were doing on Bondi Beach. when they were attacked, but that's also what's going to be happening across the UK and elsewhere in the world over the next 8 nights. And once again, we have just seen, we always take that threat seriously. We always have to consider the security for gatherings like that. And once again, we've been reminded why.
How do you feel when you hear London Mayor Sadiq Khan saying that he's putting extra officers on to protect Jewish people, and he says his thoughts and condolences, along with the rest of London, are with everyone affected by the horrific attack at Bondi Beach, Australia today? He said that, but then we've had...
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put extra security, and then it's not going to be forever. So the next time... And guys, these are all soft targets. Like, it's really easy to do. And like, for example, in London, you now have a huge... bigger and bigger Muslim population. A lot of them would wish that they could do something like this. And here's the problem. It's really easy to do. It's really easy to do. You can't have security everywhere at all times. At the end of the day, and here's another problem with all of this. A lot of Muslims around the world are going to watch this, and they're going to be inspired by this. They're going to think to themselves, like, why are we not doing this? This is going to inspire a lot of people. And at any point, if any of them decides to do something like this, there is no amount of security anywhere in the Western world that could stop all of them. It doesn't exist. So it's like Jews in the West are just like sitting ducks, just ready to be taken out by Muslims.
Week after week after week after week of pro-Palestine protests in the UK, with people holding placards saying, all sorts of anti-Semitic tropes, and not much has been done about it.
I was in Manchester the day after the...
By the way, like I have Jewish friends in the US, and they tell me that they don't tell people that they're Jews. They try not to talk about, like, bring attention to the fact that, like, how fucking sick is that? How fucking sick is that? I kind of like, it really feels like being an ex-Muslim in an Islamic country. Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like, me living as an ex-Muslim in Iran, it brings back those feelings that I had when I was in Iran as an ex-Muslim.
Heaton Park attack 2 months ago, which occurred on Yom Kippur. And I just felt this visceral anger from the Jewish community there. We saw that at the vigil, and we saw how that was expressed towards British politicians. But that anger just comes from, as you said, that generations of this normalization of being used to being behind security, and this feeling that these attacks are just a matter of time. We're just waiting for the one that's going to be successful. And we saw that in Manchester. We've seen it around the world, in the USA, and today in Australia. But I think what angers people the most is, I think we're done with security. That security is important. We need that police presence because we've seen what that threat is, and that threat is real.
Oh, Yabs, give us a super chat. Thank you, guys. Saying copycat syndrome, 100%. We know it's in Israel firsthand. Be very careful in the next month. Yeah, guys, please, Jews around the world, please be careful. And also, please reach out to each other. Reach out to each other and give each other support. Okay? Just let each other... I mean, I'm pretty sure you already do that. But just keep doing what you're doing. Like, reach out to each other and let each other know that you're there for each other.
But we're done with this idea that this is a problem that could be sorted with some extra policing and some extra security. We have deep underlying issues, which is why events happening elsewhere lead to people wanting to perpetrate violence in our communities. And that's not enough. Yes, we need police. Yes, we need security. But ultimately, what is being done to make sure that we don't need that security?
Okay, so yeah, Amir is saying they already do that. Yeah, I know they already do that. So maybe I should say to non-Jews, make the Jews around you feel secure. Okay, so given that Jews already know this, they already are supporting each other. So non-Jewish people, please, if you know Jewish people around you, just let them know that you're there for them in case they need you.
What do you think needs to happen then? Because security is a sort of, it's a reactive measure. It's not a proactive measure, really. So what do you need the governments to be doing to we need to wipe all of this sort of hatred out? How do you think they could go about that?
We do. I think that starts with understanding where that hatred comes from.
Name it. Oh, where does the hatred come from? Is this guy going to mention? Is this guy going to name it? Name the threat. Name the hate.
Anti-Semitism is prevalent in many forms of
Okay, anti-Semitism, like first anti-Semitism, call it Jew hatred. But where is it coming from? Are you going to name the source?
extremism. The attack that happened in the UK most recently was an Islamist attack.
I'm not okay. This guy mentioned it. Thank you.
Not aware of the police in Australia having ascribed any particular motives, but we've seen Islamists attacked around the world. We've seen far right attacked in America.
Far right? Did he just say far right attacked? What? Did I miss something?
Not aware of the police in Australia having ascribed any particular motives, but we've seen Islamists attacked around the world. We've seen far right attacked in America.
What is he talking about? Far right? Is he just trying to, oh my god, is he just trying to play it safe and be like, oh, we have Islamist attacks, but we also have far right attacks? Which far right attacks? Yeah, I know Islam is far right, but that's not what these people mean by saying far right. Yeah, that is very weird. Why did he feel like the need to say this? Is a video from 1 hour ago. This is after we figured out that these people are Muslim. Why is he talking about far right attacks? What the fuck does this got to do with anything? Yeah, far right means whitey. Exactly. Shana saying far right always. Is this guy trying to come off as not racist by saying like, yeah, we have Islamist attack, but we also have whitey attacks? Is that what he's trying to say? Is he trying to? Yeah, but Musa is saying it's correct. Okay, this guy is just trying to play it safe by saying like, "Hey, I'm basically." He's both sides. He's both siding it, isn't he? Fucking hell! I thought this guy is basically, actually calling out the name of what's responsible for this, but he's both siding it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sean is saying yes, Armin. He's shifting. Okay. Fucking hell.
There is no shortage of.
Yeah. Tora in the chat is saying this guy is part of the problem. Exactly. He's whitewashing Islamic attacks. Exactly. Keep in mind, Great Britain News will not let anybody mention Tommy Robinson. Fucking hell.
Groups and extremist ideologies who are out there wanting to see dead Jews and wanting to see other people who value Western liberal values be killed. And we need to look at what those forms of extremism are, not be squeamish about talking about each of those forms and what needs to be.
You are being squeamish, but right now in the middle of an Islamic attack, you're talking about the other forms of it. Like we need to mention each one of them. You're both citing it.
Done. And looking at how we as a country react to the fact that our communities are being divided by events happening elsewhere. This isn't an international issue. This is a British issue. And we need to remember that.
This is actually an international issue. What the fuck is this guy talking about? What do you mean? Like you're talking about Australia and you're saying this is a British issue? What the fuck is happening? Is this guy, am I missing his point? You're talking about Australia and you're saying this is a British issue? What?
I do find it shocking, really, the levels of racism that are put towards the Jewish community, because as a black female, I don't experience this level of racism ever. And
oh my God, that was a base comment. Okay, so she's admitting that Jews are experiencing more racism than other minority groups. Okay, so I like the commentary from the lady.
Most of my family, we don't have to have security when we go to schools or anything like that. And I'm just kind of appalled that it has been allowed to get to this level and the Jewish people have been quiet about it, because you actually have been very calm about it and just gone about your business looking after yourselves and your families without making a big deal out of it. I think you are right now to demand that the government do something. But in terms of what specifically they could do to kind of wipe it out, what would you like to see happen?
You could start by not importing the threat. That's a good first step. right? Yeah. And you could also then, after you do that, then maybe you could apologize to the people who were right all along, and the people that you censor and arrest for pointing these things out. You could basically celebrate Tommy Robinson. How about this? You could just basically go to Tommy Robinson, ask for forgiveness, and then ask him what we should do now. That's what you could do. Oh, wait, let's see. We got a super chat saying he's not completely wrong. Western, mostly far-right activists in Europe are also anti-Semitic by nature. Yes, I do. If by far-right they actually mean far-right, because a lot of these people, when they say far-right, they're talking about patriots. They're talking about people who are against mass migration and people who are concerned about Islam. They call them far-right. But if by far-right they actually mean anti-Semitic right-leaning people, yes, that is true, but it's not even close to the level of threat that we get from Islamic movements. Like, it's not even close. And to mention it, and because we know that when you say far right, a lot of people just what they mean is white people. Okay, because mainstream media, when they say far right, they're not actually, many times they're not actually referring to what is actually far right. They're just talking about, I don't know, white people or patriotic people. So in the middle of an Islamic attack, when you say, oh, whether it's Islamic or far right, to me, it seems like you're just trying to say, like, hey, guys, let's not blame. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it might come off as like, hey, guys, it's not just Islam, okay? Let's not just blame Islam. That's what I feel the message would be, even if he didn't intend it that way. But I might be wrong.
You're absolutely right. I would say, I think the community has been quiet about it for quite a long time because it's been so normalised. And the Manchester attack specifically was a real wake-up call to our community that this isn't normal. This isn't a normal way of living, and more needs to be done. We've worked really hard with government because ultimately anti-Semitism is so prevalent across society. There aren't easy answers on how to fix this. There's no easy way. I think the government needs to start with a proper extremism strategy, and that's been missing. We need to look at how this is pervasive in our schools. You know, if we look back at the Manchester attack, you know, this was somebody who may have been born elsewhere but lived here from a very young age and went through a British education system, and that obviously has failed in this instant. And we're well aware of anti-Semitism in schools. We need to look at workplaces, including in the public sector, the horrific stuff that we're seeing in the NHS. And ultimately, when we see this low-level stuff being tolerated and people seeing this as a green light that they can get away with it, that just escalates into people taking things further until ultimately people are emboldened to go and take violent action. You know, I keep talking about the Manchester attack because that's the one that was successful in killing Jews in this country. But we've seen failed plots. We've seen plots which have been foiled by the UK authorities, which thankfully we're not here discussing because they didn't succeed. But it's just, you know, we've seen the one succeed, but there's going to be more. There's going to be others trying, and more needs to be done across the board.
Now, I know that, you know, obviously the BBC have been held up for a lot of the things that their coverage being anti-Israel, which some people will then...
Oh, okay, these people are actually more based than I thought. So maybe that guy didn't mean it the way I thought.
View that as anti-Semitic. And you've had, when they had the Glastonbury coverage, they had Bob Villan chatting death to the IDF. Now, I'm sure he would argue that he's not being anti-Semitic and specifically targeting the IDF as an Israeli force. But it does seem that a lot of these organizations and these so-called people that are meant to talk about all the things that are going on in the world have almost made things worse. They've almost, it feels like they've inadvertently kind of gone along with all of this and put more power into it. I'm just, you know, I'm kind of trying to work out how we fix this. Do you think that all of this is also part of the multiculturalism in this country as well? Do you think multiculturalism has kind of gone wrong really and isn't working?
Okay, these people are not actually that far off. Okay, they're actually saying the stuff that I don't usually hear in mainstream media. Okay, so, okay.
And it is partly to blame.
So on your first point, in terms of the language that I think, you made several examples there. We have seen, be it politicians, be it celebrities, artists, other forms, tripping over themselves to try to use ever more extreme rhetoric without any concern as to what the consequences are. People playing politics about a conflict happening elsewhere with absolutely zero regard to the devastating impact that it's having in this country. And look, ultimately, more needs to be done. I don't think community cohesion is working in this country. Too many times, interfaith projects have been completely disrupted by extremists who reject any idea of interaction between Muslim groups who want to work with the Jewish community, especially at times like this, to show solidarity, and unfortunately are scuppered in doing that by extremists within their own community. These are real issues. I think, unfortunately, it's been too easy to sweep them under the carpet and ignore that they've been happening, but more and more evidence just shows that that's just not a solution.
All right.
Wait, let me actually show you something from non-mainstream media, because we usually get some really good insights, especially from somebody like Emily Schreider. Hold on, let me also make sure I saw. Okay, so Emily saying initial reports from the scene are that more than 50 bullets were fired at the crowd of Jewish Australians who had come to Bondi Beach for a Chanukah event ahead of the first night of Chanukah. Okay, so this is the goal. Yes, exactly. This is what I wanted to hear. This is what globalized Intifada means. And let's look at this footage.
Rescue him. He's dead. Good. They have to, but fucking move. Hey, take a walk, bro. Take a walk.
Wait, what happened?
Rescue him. He's dead. Good. They have to, but fucking move. Hey, take a walk, bro. Take a walk. Get off!
Okay. Let's look at this one. This is the guy called Naveed Akram. He killed 12 innocent Australians and Jews in Sydney earlier today. He's Pakistani origin. Did he kill all 12? Did the other guy not kill anybody? So Pakistani origin terrorist who has studied at Hamdard, is that how you read it? University in Islamabad, Pakistan. Okay. Israeli Australian media reports say, okay, probe underway on affiliation of terrorists. So we don't know if they're affiliated with any groups or were they lone wolves. So this is him shooting at people from the bridge at the beach. My God, it takes a really sick mind to just shoot at innocent people, right? Like, I don't know how you get this far. All right, so we already saw this. This is the guy who tried to stop them. So let's see the caption here. Oh, look at this narrative. Muslim versus Islamist. A 40, like this guy is saying Muslim, so you're saying like, so yeah, this, I know what this guy is doing. So this guy is a Muslim himself probably, right? Oh my God, he's a Salafist Muslim. So he's saying a 43-year-old Muslim hero named Ahmed al-Ahmed disarmed the Islamist jihadist. Okay, the other guy is a Muslim as well. Okay, the other guy is Muslim. Don't try to separate the guy from Islam. Islam is Islamism. Okay, so look at this. Guys, we have to be very careful about how we talk about this, because we don't want to demonize all Muslims. but we do want to call out all of Islam. And a lot of people don't have enough nuance in their conversation to do that. We have either people like this guy who tries to maybe save Islam by pointing out at a Muslim hero, and then we have people on the other side who correctly understood that Islam is evil, but then they want to demonize all Muslims. So it's very hard for us to convince people that the correct position is that yes, all of Islam is shit, but there are many good Muslims. Okay, that's what we and it's not a very easy thing to do, because people on both sides will try to take advantage of events like this to try to convince you otherwise, and we have to really stand our ground. Okay, Islam is all shit. I mean, I've read the Quran many times, I've read the Hadith, it is all shit. Okay, but there are many, but I also have met many good Muslims. The reason why this is not a contradiction is because many Muslims don't follow Islam. So his framing is a 40-year-old Muslim hero named Ahmed. By the way, let me know in the chat if you agree with my framing of it. Does that make sense to you guys? Oh, Dr. Amir is saying yes, 100%. Okay. Yeah, Quran is not just bad. Quran is shit. But let's see. A 43-year-old Muslim hero named Ahmed al-Ahmed disarmed the Islamist jihadists to prevent more Jewish casualties. He is a father of two and fruit shop owner in Sutherland, Australia. This is the difference between Muslim and Islamist. Muslims save lives and Islamists take innocent life. That's okay. That's bullshit. That guy that you're calling an Islamist, he's a Muslim. He's in fact, he's a Muslim that is following Islam more closely than that Muslim hero. That Islamist, as you frame it, that was shooting Jews, is following Islam more closely than that Muslim. Hey guys, I'm not one of those people who tries to generalize all Muslims and say like, oh, that guy is not a real Muslim. Okay, I don't do either. So you can see some people on the I don't know, far right, they were like, oh no, that if you're not following Islam, you're not a real Muslim. And then you have so many Muslims who say, well, no, the terrorist is not a real Muslim. Okay, but I'm here to tell you they're both Muslim. Both the terrorist and that hero, they're both Muslim. Okay, don't do a no true Scotsman fallacy. They're both Muslim. One of them is following Islam, the other one isn't, but they're both Muslim. Oh, we got some super chats. Let me respond to this. Hold on, let me unstar the previous ones. Okay, trying to say 99% of people don't know their own religion. I am still learning mine and I study more than most. Yeah, guys, the vast majority of Muslims have never read the Quran. I mean, even the ones who recite the Quran haven't actually read the Quran. They just recite the Quran. There's a difference between reciting the Quran and reading the Quran. And again, most Islamic teachings doesn't even come from the Quran. It comes from the Hadith. So imagine if a small minority of Muslims have read the Quran, even a smaller minority has read the Hadith. So do you really think they're following Islam even if they don't even know what Islamic teachings are? The only thing they know about Islamic teachings is that they're supposed to pray, fast during Ramadan, maybe some things about hijab, and they're supposed to do the Hajj if they can. Very basic few stuff. Most of the, like, I know most people, most ex-Muslims know more about Islam than Muslims. And that's a fact. On average, ex-Muslims know way more about Islam than Muslims do. That's why they're ex-Muslim. Yabs saying, thank you, by the way, Shauna and Yabs, for the super chat. Yabs is saying he took the gun because he's a nice guy, not because he's a Muslim. Exactly. Yabs gets it. Shauna gets it as well. Fantastic. You guys get it. You guys understand how this works. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you guys. What is this? I think we already saw this one. Did we? Oh, let me read. Here's an example of a good Muslim. I really like her, and I don't know why she doesn't follow me. I'm kind of offended. But let me see. See, she's saying, if it's not pure evil, then what is this? I hate to say it, but we know There is more to come because of what the West has built to welcome terrorists. Okay, and this is a Muslim saying this, by the way, guys. And then she continues, she's saying, the media continues spreading blood libel and misinformation about the Middle East, and leftist diplomats happily shake hands with terrorists just to secure their voting ballots. My heart is with my Israeli friends who are witnessing the Bondi Beach terror attack. Okay, so see, this is an example of a Muslim, of a hijabi Muslim, who's Iranian, I think, who is anti-leftism, pro-Israeli. Okay, and I will even retweet her, even though she doesn't follow me. Maybe one day she will notice me and follow me. All right, so okay, so we saw a good Muslim, and here's the other side of this. Okay, look at all of the Nice attack Muslim, Paris attack Muslim, shoe bomber Muslim, Orlando attack Muslim, Beltway snipers Muslim, Fort Hood shooter Muslim, underwear bomber Muslim, Westminster attack bomber. You get the point. It keeps going. Oh, it keeps going and going and going, right? So this is the phrase that you should always remember. Okay, this is, if you understand this, then you understand, I mean, more than most people. Okay, most Muslims are not terrorists. What's the second part of this? You guys know it? Most Muslims are not terrorists. However, you know what the second part says? I think you guys mostly know what the second part says. However, most terrorists are Muslim. All right? And that's a fact. So always remember that, because that disarms anybody that wants to accuse you of generalization. Yeah, I know most of you guys know this, right? But make sure you mention that to anybody who thinks that you're generalizing or you're saying something that not. Acknowledge the fact that most Muslims are not terrorists, but also point out that most terrorism comes from Muslims. I mean, there's a reason to that. And guys, here's the thing. Here's what we know. Here's what we know. It is Islam. It is Islam because every other factor is different among them. Like if you look at Muslim terrorists, their nationality is different. Their ethnicity is different. Their history is different. Their geography is different. Their upbringing is different. Everything about them is different. There's one thing that is the same. It's that they're Muslim. So this must be coming from Islam, because we have, if you isolate every single other variable, and then if you have like control and you basically look at all the variables and adjust for them, you will see that there's only one thing that they share, and that's the Islamic element. So this is because of Islam. The source is Islam. If you think it's poverty, we have many poor societies that don't produce terrorism like this. If you think it was colonialism, we have so many country societies that have been colonized in history that don't produce anything like this. If you're a racist and you think it's their race, if you think it's their ethnicity, they are very diverse in their ethnicity. The common factor is Islam. It's undeniable. It's undeniable that this is because of Islam. Oh, let's look at this one. So this guy was pointing out that about a month ago, I didn't actually know this, about a month ago, Australia refused to let YouTuber Carl Benjamin, or Sargon of Akkad, into the country because he was considered dangerous. So, I mean, I don't know. Wasn't this guy born in Australia, though? So I'm not sure. But I see the point. So what is this? Somebody is saying the typical Sydney community gathering. What is this about?
I'm smiling. I'm smiling and I'm happy.
Okay, so this is in Sydney.
I'm elated. It's a day of courage. It's a day of happiness. It's a day of pride. It's a day of victory. This is the day we've been waiting for. 75 years. 75 years of occupation. 15 years of blockade. What yesterday happened was the first time our brothers and sisters broke through the largest prison on earth.
Holy shit, is this in response to October 7th? Are they celebrating October 7th? Is this after October 7th? Holy shit, these are people here celebrating. Oh my, there's so many of them. Oh my god. Fucking hell. Look, okay, with that context, I have to now watch this again. Look how happy he is.
I'm smiling. I'm smiling and I'm happy.
Oh my god.
I'm elated. It's a day of courage. It's a day of happiness. It's a day of pride. It's a day of victory. This is the day we've been waiting for. 75 years. 75 years of occupation. 15 years of blockade. What yesterday happened was the first time our brothers and sisters broke through the largest prison on earth. Occupation is the cry.
Occupation is the cry.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Occupation is the cry.
Occupation is the cry.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free.
I mean, this shooting on Bondi Beach. How do you expect anything else to come from this? That's the result of having this in Sydney, in Australia. Like, of course, like if these people are celebrating October 7th, I'm surprised that attack on Jews didn't even happen earlier in Sydney. If all of these people think genocide on Jews are just like worthy of celebration, of course, at some point, some of them is going to be like, well, then what's stopping us then? It's only the natural effect of having this in Australia. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have more of this. Guys, try to move to Israel if you can. Okay. Yeah, so here's the thing. Okay, so I think I remember this video. This was a celebration. I'm amazed that Emily Schreider posts in Persian sometimes. I love that about her because she is Israeli American and sometimes she posts in Persian. I think she's learning Farsi, by the way. I love that about her. Anyway, so this is, let me actually read the translation in English. The holding of October 8th celebrations in Australia with chants of Khaybar, Khaybar, referring to the massacre of Jews in Khaybar by Muslims and a threat to repeat it, accompanied by the burning of Israeli flag and the raising of the flag of the Islamic Republic took place. Did you think the calls to globalize the Intifada were serious? Today's massacre at Bondi Beach was predictable, and it is undoubtedly a full-blown tragedy. Australia has once again failed to protect its Jewish community. Tolerating such scenes is not cultural diversity, it is moral suicide. This situation is no longer acceptable. So let's actually, so this is what this would have been. Yeah, people should have seen this coming. So this is October 8th, the day after a genocide on Jews. This is how Muslims in Sydney were celebrating it.
Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Free, free Palestine!
All right, let's actually look at the latest update on this, but we got a super chat, so I'm gonna so good. There's a new video. Okay, so 12 dead, 29 injured.
12 people.
But before we play this, let me just read the super chat before we actually watch this. Oh, okay, we got two super chats. Shauna saying, yeah, Islam and Christianity both map themselves onto existing people's groups. Christianity was varied in its behavior. Yeah, okay. Islam and Christianity both map themselves onto existing people's groups. Okay, Christianity was varied in its behavior. Okay. Thank you, Shauna. And then we have Carl saying, Armin, what do you think about gay Muslim Irshad Manji that says that the problem is with most of the Muslims, not with Islam? I mean, the answer is read the fucking Quran. Read Hadith. What the fuck is she talking about? That's absolutely retarded. Anybody who says that either hasn't read the Quran or the Hadith, or they have read it, but they have poor reading comprehension, or they're lying to you. I can't think of a fourth option. It's one of these three. Either they haven't read the Quran or Hadith, or they have it, but they're not really good at understanding what they're reading. I mean, even if you're not really good at understanding what you're reading, just go look at the tafsirs of Quran and Hadith for the past 1300 years and look at the interpretation of the vast majority of Muslims who speak Arabic, and their entire job was to understand the Quran and Hadith. So you either haven't read it, you've read it, but you are retarded, or three, worse, you might be lying, which is the worst option. And thank you, Carl, for the super chat. And then Sean is saying, I am just saying that Christianity either built the West or had no impact either way. It's not the same as Buddhism. Yeah, but I mean, as an atheist, I think Christianity is not helpful, but it's nothing comparable. Like, no religion is as destructive or as Islam. I think what built the West, in my opinion, was Enlightenment values and the Industrial Revolution. And the reason why I know it's not Christianity is because we have many Christian countries that are behind, right? Like, I don't know, there's like Christian countries is not just North America and Europe. Like, if Christianity was the reason, why didn't that happen in the Philippines, for example? Right? It was Enlightenment values. It was the Enlightenment values and the Industrial Revolution. That's what made the West great. But again, I'm not going to attack Christianity because Islam is the real threat. So let's actually watch this now.
People are dead and 29 injured after.
So here we have now the most updated information. This just came out 30 minutes ago.
12 people are dead and 29 injured after last night's terror attack at Bondi Beach in Sydney. Among the injured are 2 police officers and a heroic bystander who wrestled a gun from one of the shooters. One of the 2 gunmen is among the dead, with the other in a critical condition. The killings targeting Australians celebrating a Jewish festival has been declared an act of terror.
This cowardly act of terrifying violence is shocking and painful to see and represents some of our worst fears about terrorism in Sydney. This attack was designed to target Sydney's Jewish community on the first day of Hanukkah. What should have been a night of peace and joy celebrated in that community with families and supporters has been shattered by this horrifying evil attack.
As Prime Minister, I say on behalf of all Australians to the Jewish community.
By the way, anyone know how good this guy is? I don't know anything about him. Is he honest about the problem with mass migration, or is he part of the problem? I have no idea about where this guy stands, so please educate me if you know.
Prime Minister, I say on behalf of all Australians to the Jewish community, we stand with you, we embrace you, and we reaffirm tonight that you have every right to be proud of who you are and what you believe. You have the right to worship and study and live.
Oh, so you're saying the Australian version of Keir Starmer, as far as I know. Shit, okay, he's a fucking leftist? Fuck. So he's part of the problem then.
Who you are and what you believe. You have the right to worship and study and live and work in peace and safety. And you enrich us.
Fuck.
Emma Olsen is a Channel 10 reporter based in Sydney, and she joins me now.
Oh, you guys, Nelman is saying he's useless. Okay.
With the latest. Emma, thanks so much for being with us this morning. What do we know so far about last night's attack and how it evolved?
Good morning, Michael. Well, as you've said, they've declared it as a terrorist incident last night. This was within 3 hours.
Yeah, people are saying these are empty words. These are empty words. Yeah, Neil Bunny was saying that. So Shauna is saying, thank you, Shauna, for the super chat. Shauna is saying, even as a Christian, I agree. The Industrial Revolution, although Protestant, increased literacy, which also helped. Well, okay, I'm not going to get into a debate with you over that right now. But I see what you're saying. And thank you for the support.
Hours of the
oh, shit. Amir is saying Canada soon. You think so? Fucking hell, man. Canada soon as well? Hope not. Shit. Fucking hell.
And how it evolved.
Good morning, Michael. Well, as you've said, they've declared it as a terrorist incident last night. This was within 3 hours of the shooting actually happening that they declared this. It was very quick, which is quite significant. 12 people rather have been confirmed dead, one of which is the shooter, one of the shooters rather, and 29 people have been taken to hospital. It's believed that one child is among these people and 2 police officers. Now, the shooting unfolded around 6:45 last night, where 2 men had long-armed shotguns. They had approached the beach at the North Bondi end on what we call a concrete bridge that is from the car park to the beach, and they started opening firing on what is a Jewish community Christmas event. They were celebrating the first day of Hanukkah, but called it Chanukah, and it's believed that more than 1,000 people were at this event. Now, we don't know a motive at this stage, but it is coming out as though it looks as though it is targeted to this Jewish event. Now, it went on for about 15, 20 minutes, and then as you said, a brave bystander ended up tackling one of the shooters and taking a gun off him and disarming him. And, I live...
Is he okay? I saw he got shot. I hope he's okay. This other guy. The guy that, the brave guy that was stopped the shooting. Is anybody knows if he's okay?
About 5 kilometers away from Bondi, and I could hear sirens coming from basically every direction. The aftermath of Bondi Beach, there was just stuff scattered all across the park. There was prams, there was shoes, there was towels, just people's belongings, because it just shows how quickly people got up and got out of there when it all took place. Now, many people were saying after the fact that they actually mistook the gunshots for fireworks, which is incredibly distressing in itself. Last night, the police,
oh, okay, unicorn. Okay, so people are saying, yeah, they say he has minor injuries. Last I saw, he's still in the hospital, but doctors expect him to survive. Okay, good. He's a national treasure, that guy.
Had a very large exclusion zone as they were looking for IEDs and improvised explosive devices. which they actually found in one of the shooter's cars. Relatives have actually overnight started to come forward and name.
I'm so glad that I'm actually very glad that the person, the hero who stopped the shooting to some extent, was a Muslim, because if anti-Islamism turns into as anti-Muslim, that's what the terrorists would want, because the best way to get more Muslims into the arms of Islam is to hate on them and demonize them. So that man, he saved Jews, but he also saved a lot of Muslims from more radicalization, in my opinion. If you are anti-Islam, then you shouldn't be pushing Muslims into the arm of Islam. And the best way to push more Muslims into the arm of Islam is by demonizing and isolating them. Right? The best way to make more Muslims participate in civilized society and modern values is by just being nice to them and being friendly with them. That's how you steal them from Islam. Right? So this man, I think he saved a lot of Jews, but I think he also saved a lot of Muslims, maybe without knowing.
Relatives have actually overnight started to come forward and name some of their relatives who have been affected by this and killed in the incident, which is incredibly sad. And just the whole Sydney community, Australian community is, I think, quite numb waking up.
Yeah, Neil Bunny saying true. When Muslims see Muslims not just saying they're peaceful, but actively fighting violence. Yes.
This morning, after.
But also, it's also about if Muslims notice that people around them hate them for being Muslim, then they seek refuge in. They just basically stay around each other, and they don't interact with the rest of the population, and they segregate themselves, and they seek refuge into the teachings and values of Islam even more. Right? So I am for not bringing more of them into the West, okay? But the ones that you have, don't mistreat them. Don't bring any more, okay? Cut it out. Zero migration from Islamic countries. That's one. But two, the ones that you already have and already citizens, treat them nicely. You can steal them from Islam.
Last night's event.
Let me know if you agree with me on this.
Community is, I think, quite numb waking up this morning after last night's event.
Yeah, absolutely, Emma. I mean, can you tell us more about the? We've seen that sort of multiple displays of heroism by.
You don't agree with me? Carl doesn't agree with me. Let me know why you disagree with me.
Ordinary Australians. The man who tackled and disarmed the attacker. What more do we know about that individual?
What's come out overnight is that it's actually.
I mean, like, for example, you know who does this very well? You know who does this very well? You know who's very properly anti-Islamic but very nice to Muslims, treats them very nicely? Tommy Robinson. Have you seen how Tommy talks to Muslims? He's very nice. He's very kind. He has Muslim friends, but he's very aggressively anti-Islamic. So, Carl is saying appeasement doesn't work. Better have clear fronts. That's not appeasement. How is that appeasement? Being anti-Muslim is exactly what the Islamic movements want, because, in fact, I think it's actually a very brutal attack against Islamic movements to try to, basically make Muslims be friendly with them and bring them. It's kind of like psychological war, trying to make them assimilate with Western society. That is actually a very brutal attack on Islamic movements. It's not appeasement at all. It's psychological warfare. So you're saying they must choose between Islam and the West? So that lady that I showed you, like where, like for example, this woman. Where is she? This one. You don't like, so look at this. Let me read her post one more time. So this is a Muslim. This is a hijabi Muslim. Okay. So she's saying, she's talking about what's happening in Australia, and she's saying, if it's not pure evil, then what is this? I hate to say it, but we all know there is more to come because of what the West has built to welcome terrorists. The media continues spreading blood libel and misinformation about the Middle East, and the leftist diplomats happily shake hands with terrorists just to secure their voting ballots. My heart is with my Israeli friends who are witnessing the Bondi Beach terror attack. So she's a Muslim and she wears the hijab. Is she our enemy, in your opinion? I don't think she's our enemy. I mean, I disagree with her on Islam, but I don't think she's the enemy. I think she's on our side. So, I'm not saying don't call it Islam, but our war is with Islam. It's not with Muslims. No, she's saying so she blames the West instead of Islam. Proves my point. She's blaming the part of the left that we blame as well. She's blaming the part of the West that we blame as well. Yeah, exactly. I mean, she is Iranian British. Oh, I can see. Yeah, that's why I don't. She's British Iranian, and I don't know why she's not following me. I've been, I kind of like. I'm a big fan of her. By the way, guys, if anybody thinks that, if you guys want to see Muslims that a Muslim that I really respect, go watch this live stream that I did. Look at this one. Okay, so just come to Atheist Republic and search for this video. Okay, this live stream is called She Risked Her Life to Expose Hamas. Dalia Zaida talks to us. So this is a Muslim woman who's very pro-Israel, and and she. All right, hold on. Wait, it's quiet. And she risked her life to call out to support Israel while she was in Egypt. Right? Again, she's a Muslim, and I disagree with her on Islam, but I love her. She's like a hero, in my opinion. She has risked more. She has risked more to support Jews in Israel than most people. So, I consider her to be. Don't they call her a traitor? Yes, they do call her a traitor. And she almost paid the heaviest price for the stance that she was taking to support Israel, right? Again, I'm not saying hold back against Islam. I am very aggressively anti-Islamic, but I don't hate Muslims. Like I don't hate all Muslims, including her. I think she's a hero, and I think she's on our side. And if you, by the way, some people in the chat saying she's not a Muslim. Well, that's because you don't understand how Islam works. I'm an ex-Muslim and I've studied Islam. I know how Islam works. Just because you don't follow Islam, it doesn't make you a non-Muslim. So in Islam, if you're sinning, if you're not following Islam, it doesn't make you a non-Muslim. So no, she is still a Muslim. Even if you don't follow Islam, you're still considered a Muslim. Sure. But it's okay, Carl. We could disagree. I mean, I like having some. We could have that disagreement. It's fine. Let me see.
Actually, a shop owner, a local shop owner, and he is a father of two.
Oh wait, somebody's saying, do you really think Jews should leave Europe, Armin? Well, I can't tell what Jews should do. I just know if I was a Jew and I lived in Europe, I would be doing everything in my power to leave Europe. That's what I would do. I mean, in fact, anywhere else. If I was a Jew outside of Israel, I would do everything and anything in my power to take, not for my sake, but for my family's sake. I would take my whole family and be like, we're moving to Israel. That's what I would do.
We don't know too many more details other than that at this stage, but I'm very much looking forward to.
By the way, speaking of Israel, you know who doesn't treat Muslims as enemies? All Muslims as enemies? Israel. Israel has paid a bigger price because of Islam than most other societies. The nation of Israel has paid a heavier price for the existence of Islam than any other society, than most other societies. Okay, I just remembered Iran. Than most other societies. Okay, guys. Yeah, we Iranians have actually paid a heavier price, but okay, but it's up there, right? And they're not anti-Muslim. They don't treat Muslims. In fact, they treat Muslims better. They treat their Muslim citizens better than Islamic countries treat their Muslim citizens. This is why we love Israel. Does that make sense? So if we support Israel because of Israeli values. And one of Israeli values is that, Muslims get equal rights and respect. Shauna saying, counterpoint, Shenki is an ex-Muslim. Yeah, so we have ex-Muslims who are not on our team, and we have Muslims who are on our team. Carl saying, I appreciate your message, but coping Muslims who make up their own private Islam are just like Ahmadiyya's 1% and irrelevant. Well, I'm not saying, okay, but I'm not saying if they're relevant or not relevant. I'm not saying this is, I actually agree with you. They are irrelevant. The good Muslims have proven to be useless when it comes to fighting this fight. I completely agree with you. I'm not saying that we shouldn't call them out for being useless in this fight. On average, at least. On average, they have been useless. Okay, not all of them. Like, for example, Dahlia hasn't been useless. She's been a hero. This guy here, he's not useless. He probably saved a whole bunch of Jews from dying. But on average, they are irrelevant. You're right. But I'm not suggesting that we should consider them important or relevant in this fight. What I'm saying is that let's not demonize them, which doesn't contradict the point that you're making. It doesn't contradict the point you're making. Both of us could be right at the same time. Does that make sense, Carl?
Get to speak with him because he is an absolute hero, and I think the world is seeing that and commending him for what he did because he saved so many lives.
It's extraordinary stuff.
Okay, so Carl agrees with me. Yes, good guys need to be treated as good guys. Okay, there we go. We agree then. We agree.
How is
In fact, I will go farther. I would say good Muslims unintentionally provide cover for the real Islam. So there's a saying that say that good Muslims are like the grass, for their Islam is the snake that hides in between them. Okay, I understand that, and I agree that good Muslims give Islam cover, provide Islam cover. They give it legitimacy. And with that legitimacy, it's like a shield that the Muslims who follow Islam use. Then they increase their numbers. They give them political power. They give them influence into our politics, and they get into the Western systems with their high numbers using the democratic process. And then once they're in, then the Muslims who follow Islam more closely, that's when they spread their poison. I completely understand all of that, and I agree with that. And I think I understand that the good Muslims are the reason why Muslims who follow Islam more closely, the more fundamentalist Muslims, get to do what they do. I completely understand that. And I know that's a problem. I don't hide that. I don't deny that. But all of that is true. And it doesn't contradict the fact that demonizing the good Muslims doesn't help with any of this. You know, all of that is true. But we need to treat good people as good people.
The Jewish community responded in the hours since the shooting?
Well, they've obviously condemned the attack, and I think their sights are set on just, giving support to the whole Jewish community. I mean, they've really been through it over the last year or two. The anti-Semitic attacks in Sydney has just absolutely skyrocketed. We've seen.
Oh, I wonder why. Guys, can you guys figure out why anti-Semitic attacks have skyrocketed in Sydney? It's a mystery, isn't it?
So many come, and Jewish restaurants, synagogues, they've all been targeted. There's fire bombings. We've had Nazi symbols spray painted across buildings. All the Jewish schools in Sydney, they have heightened security with security guards patrolling 24/7 while kids are in school. They're living their lives in fear, which is incredibly saddening.
So what is Anthony Albanese saying about this? Because this is one of the things that the Israeli authorities are saying, is that essentially Australia has failed to deal.
By the way, the guys, their audio is cutting. It's their audio that is shit. It's not me.
With this wave of anti-Semitic attacks. So what is he saying in terms of resources, in terms of preventing, some sort of copycat of this occurring again?
Well, we heard from the Premier, Chris Minns, last night, who was thanking all the emergency service workers for their efforts, but then that was...
We got a super chat saying, I heard the Islamic regime in Iran condemned the attack. If true, laughable, if not disgustingly... Oh, disgusting? Okay, so yeah, you're right, actually. So, and I also think I wouldn't be surprised if they had something to do with it. I would not be surprised if it comes out that they actually had something to do with this, because they have been trying to get it has been proven that they have been trying to do some attacks on Jews, given how embarrassed they were in the 12-day war and how unimpressive they have been in trying to attack Israel in any meaningful way. They have been desperately trying to kill Jews, soft targets, just Jewish civilians around the world, to try to have something to show for their supporters. And we know, like, by the way, guys, this is not a conspiracy theory, because it has been revealed. Their plans have been leaked. They even recently tried to attack Jews in Africa. And by the way, even that failed. They couldn't even get that done. So the Islamic Republic has been desperately trying to find ways to kill Jews outside of Israel, just to show something to their followers that they're not that incompetent. So you're completely accurate to say that if they are condemning this, they're being completely dishonest, because we know that they have actually been trying to do an attack like this. And I would not be surprised at all if this was actually them.
Followed by the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, who said that this evil was unleashed is beyond comprehension. He says that all their resources will be being put into this. Questions have now been raised over the security levels in Australia. How can something like this be happening? I mean, it wasn't an anti-Semitic event, but last year in April, we saw the Bondi stabbings, which killed 6 people too. So as I said before, people are just living in fear now. Australia prides itself in being a safe country, but that image is essentially being shattered now.
And Emma, can you just tell us, just before we go, I mean, you're saying that you lived quite close to where this event unfolded. I mean, how are you feeling personally this morning, and how are your friends who, live with you? Did you guys head there as soon as it started to unfold, or what did you do, and how are you feeling?
I'm shaken, as most Sydney-siders will be. It's actually hitting quite close to home because my friends and I, hours prior, had talked about going down to Bondi Beach for a picnic, and it wasn't until one of our friends said, you know, actually I'm a bit tired tonight, maybe we do it another night. And so we didn't end up going down, and, you know, I guess that was the universe telling us that we didn't need to be there. Which I am incredibly thankful for. But I had a lot of friends down. They were at different bars and restaurants across Bondi Beach. You know, Sydney summer is beautiful. People head to Bondi Beach, thousands of people on what was a beautiful night last night. And so many people, they witnessed everything happening. You know, there was videos that my friends were sending me inside the restaurants, everyone taking shelter when they heard the shooting happen. And yeah, everyone, like I personally got a lot of messages from people around the world saying, are you okay, as soon as they heard it. And I'm sure so many other people in Sydney will be getting that too. But yeah, as I said, everyone's just waking up shaken.
All right. Okay, guys. All right, guys, we're going to go into our discussion group in about 20 minutes to talk about this. Probably that's going to be what we're going to talk about. I'm going to post a link into our discussion group. We're going to have a group call there. The link is also in the description, and the link is now also in the chat. So I'm just going to go get ready for that. Sorry, guys, about this news. I really hope for a day that Jews don't have to feel like this. I don't know how you guys deal with that, but I know that you guys have dealt with worse throughout history, and you have always somehow figured out a way to overcome evil. And I also know that you guys have each other, and you're very closely connected, and you support each other, and you're the best community exactly for times like this. You know how to deal with this. So, you know, this is devastating, and I know you guys will overcome this because you have overcome much worse than this. Don't bet against the Jews. If you want to, don't ever bet against the Jews. Okay? Am Israel Chai. Am Israel Chai, motherfuckers. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, guys. I'm going to head out. Don't forget to like the stream. I appreciate all of you here in the chat. And I'll talk to you again soon. All right? Okay. I'm Israel Chai. Javid Shah. See you guys.